Motown down.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Classic Movie Buffet Theater. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. We dropped down a subscriber, and then we went back up a subscriber, so welcome. I appreciate y'all being here, and I appreciate you bearing with me while I try to figure this YouTube stuff out, because they're starting to get really strict about what you're allowed to post and what you're not allowed to post. So, this one's rough. Okay, so that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's video. And today we're going to talk about a action comedy that came out on December 5th of 1984. And it was directed by a Martin Brest. Now, he has directed such great films as Going in Style from 1979. He also directed Midnight Run from 1988, and that was with Robert De Niro, which was an excellent action film. Excellent. Comedy action is what it was. It was excellent. I liked it. And he also directed the 1998 Meet Joe Black. Now, I've never seen Meet Joe Black, so I couldn't tell you anything about it. And I haven't seen Going in Style. Going in Style, when I looked it up, and of course you'll see the photo of it, it is a movie from 1979 that had George Burns in it. George Burns, the only movie I've really ever noticed George Burns in or watched is the Oh God movies. And he was fantastic in those. Those are some funny movies. But Midnight Run is an excellent action comedy. Like I said, it's with Robert De Niro, has Charles Grodin in it. And it's one of those bounty hunter trying to claim his prize type movies, and it's fantastic. It's so funny. So the movie we're going to talk about today is called Beverly Hills Cop, and of course this movie had a budget of an estimated $13 million, and the worldwide gross for the film was $316,360,480. So it did very, very well at the box office. The film stars Eddie Murphy, of course, and he plays the character of Axel Foley. And he's also played in such films as Shrek from 2001.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
And he also played in The Golden Child from 1986. And he also played in the comedy Norbit from 2007. All three of those films are fantastic films. Eddie Murphy is just a phenomenal actor. He did have a album that came out years ago, which wasn't bad, but I don't think he ever made any more albums after that one. Because it didn't sell all that great, but he sounded great. He sounded phenomenal. But all three of those films are good films, and of course, you can't go wrong with Eddie Murphy most of the time. The film also stars the great Judge Reinhold, who plays the character of Detective Billy Rosewood, and he's also played in such classic films as Gremlins from 1984. He also played in the film Vice Versa in 1988, and I believe that was with Fred Savage was in that film, I believe. And he also played in a film called The Hollow from 2004. Now, The Hollow was based on the Headless Horseman. I believe it was made for TV. It was on TV when I watched. It was a world premiere. And it had Nick Carter played in it. It was decent. It was a decent movie. Had Nick Carter, Stacy Keach, Judge Reinhold. Had a decent cast to it. It's pretty good. It was all right. It was all right. Vice Versa was a great comedy. And Gremlins, what can you say about Gremlins? Gremlins was fantastic. And finally, it also stars John Ashton, who played the character of Detective or Sergeant Taggart. And he has also played in such films as Tommyknockers, Stephen King's Tommyknockers from 1993. He also has an uncredited role in the comedy Curly Sue from 1991. And he was in 18 episodes of a television series that ran from 1989 to 1990 called Hardball. Now, this was a police action show. That it was John Ashton and Richard Tyson, and it only lasted 18 episodes, but it was a great show. I enjoyed those 18 episodes. I wished it would have kept going. I really do. But sadly, on September 26th of 2024, John Ashton passed away. Uh, uh, he he fought cancer as long as he could and passed away. So rest in peace, John Ashton.
Marvin!
All right, and the plot for this film is a freewheeling Detroit cop pursuing a murder investigation finds himself dealing with the very different culture of Beverly Hills. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the trailer for Beverly Hills Cop. Roll it.
Eddie Murphy is a Detroit cop on vacation in Beverly Hills.
I just got off the phone with an Inspector Todd in Detroit. He says if you're out here investigating the Tandino murder, you needn't bother coming back.
I don't wanna take it anymore.
For a man who claims to be on vacation, you look a lot like you're on a stakeout.
Stakeout? No. I'm picnicking. This is like a picnic area. I have to ask you some questions about Michael Tandino. I've never been to a cell that had a phone in it. Can I stay for a while? Because I ordered some pizza.
We have 6 witnesses that say you broke in and started tearing up the place, then jumped out the window.
May I help you?
Yeah. I'm looking for Victor Maitland.
I have nothing to say to you.
How you doing? You guys don't know nothing about nothing, do you? You just got your badges and your guns and you're on the job, right? Make sure we get the right drinks, because if I drink club soda, I'll throw up. You know, this is the cleanest and nicest police car I've ever been in my life. This thing's nicer than my apartment.
I suspect you are the pride of your department in Detroit.
It seems painfully obvious you haven't the slightest idea who you're dealing with.
I don't know what y'all think I am, giving me some kind of food. Hurry up, quicker!
Crawl back to your little stone in Detroit before you get squashed.
Don't move! Cover me. Police! You're all under arrest!
You do that again, I'll shoot you myself.
Eddie Murphy, Beverly Hills Cop.
All right, that was the trailer for Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop won a Stuntman Award for best vehicular stunts. It also won a People's Choice Award for favorite motion picture in 1985, and it was inducted into the Online Film and TV Association Hall of Fame, and also won a Grammy for best album of original score written for a motion picture or a television special. So it won its fair share of awards when it came out back in the day. I didn't know that, but I do now. This is a mega hit action comedy from Paramount Pictures and producing duo Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. Eddie Murphy became a genuine superstar playing Detroit cop Axel Foley. As expected, there's a lot of laughs here combined with Murphy's on screen charisma. This dude, in his heyday, was so hilarious. And the way he portrayed the character of Axel Foley, um, of course, as we, if you've seen if you watch the other movies, he broke an occasional law or two back in his day. So he was pretty much so quick witted on how to talk his way out of a situation or talk his way into wherever he wanted to go. And that was just his character. Um, at the time this film came out, it established action comedy as one of the biggest genres of the decade. Beverly Hills Cop contains one of the signature 80s soundtracks, both the pop songs, which charted on several top 100 singles lists, and the score by Harold Faltermeyer, which includes top 10 single Axel F. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't take much to get a song in my head on repeat. That Axel F song, if you've never seen this movie before, that Axel F song is throughout the whole entire film. By the time that movie's over, you're going to be humming the theme song. You're going to be humming Axel F. And then years later, along came this Crazy Frog. I don't know if any of y'all ever seen that Crazy Frog. The same song in those Crazy Frog videos. So it definitely has um, an iconic status, especially with the soundtrack with that one song. Breast casting is superb, and he elicits performances which are often the best of even young actors' careers. Reinhold, Ashton, and Ronnie Cox are outstanding, and the ensemble clicks like a well-oiled infield. The villain, Victor Maitland, played by Stephen Burkoff, is chillingly underplayed. The cold-blooded evil shines through the civilized facade. Um, he didn't have very much to do in this film. He was only in a few scenes in the film. He had a short screen time in the film. He could have done with a little bit more insight into his character per se. Kind of build up his villainy in the film. Um, but that's okay. That's okay. That's my only fault with this film. They didn't build up the villain enough. Um, this is another one of those movies that I still crack up watching every single time I watch it. Um, it has a solidness and an integrity to it, which make it durable. It stands the test of time because of that. This film is Eddie Murphy at his best, and it was a star vehicle for Eddie Murphy, and he drove said vehicle like he stole it. Um, this movie, I don't want to say it catapulted his career because he had other stuff out there. He was doing Saturday Night Live and doing stand up and other things like that. But this was one of the movies that helped boost his career most certainly. It's a fantastic action comedy film. Um, a lot can be said about the other two parts. I thoroughly enjoyed both one and two. Three was okay. It didn't have the flair of the other two films. It definitely didn't have the flair of the first film. But one and two are probably the best ones. Now, Axel F that came out a couple of years ago, part four, I thought it was very well done. It was very well directed. And it had, Judge Reinhold and John Ashton, and of course Eddie Murphy was back in it. It was a decent movie. Of course, it was on Netflix, so there you go with that. But it was better than three. I guarantee you that it was better than part three. So, in my estimation, if you've never seen any of these films, you should probably watch Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, skip 3, and go to Axel F. Uh, that's just the way it is. Excuse me. That's just the way that cookie crumbled. I mean, you can't always have excellent sequels. It just doesn't happen that way a lot of times. In some cases it does. In some cases it does, and some it doesn't. But in this case, it didn't. I mean, like I said, 1, 2, and 4 is probably the best ones in my opinion. But if you haven't seen this movie before, definitely go check it out. And even if you have watched it, it's worth a rewatch. I mean, this movie's funny as I don't know what still to this day, especially the banana and the tailpipe. If you know, you know. Uh, but you know, it's a great film. It's a great film. All right, so now it is time to jump into the trivia for the film. There's the intro. Yep, trivia time. All right, here we go. Beverly Hills Cop trivia. Let's see. Eddie Murphy, John Ashton, and Judge Reinhold improvised most of their comical lines. Literally hundreds of takes were ruined by cast members, actors, or the directors laughing during shooting. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Especially when you got Eddie Murphy on set. Let's see. To cast the roles of Taggart and Rosewood, the director paired up various finalists and asked them to improv a little to get a feel for their chemistry. When Reinhold was paired with Ashton, the director asked them to improv a scene where they talked like they were an elderly married couple. So Reinhold quickly grabbed a magazine, and he and Ashton improved the 5 pounds of red meat in his bowels bit almost exactly as it eventually appeared in the film. So that scene was never supposed to be in the film at all until they improv that whole skit, that whole bit, and the director liked it so much he's like, okay, let's put that in the film. That's great. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Originally, there was only to be two. There was to be two men working in the art gallery scenes. When the director heard Bronson Pinchot's Surge impersonation, he thought it was so hysterical that he scaled back the other part to give Bronson more screen time. There is a scene where there's another guy working in the art gallery. He has his shirt unbuttoned too low, and Bronson Pinchot's character Surge points that out. It's a very funny scene, but that is the only time you see the other guy in the scenes at the art gallery, and that's why the director wanted Pinchot to have more screen time. Bronson Pinchot is a great comedic act. He was fantastic in the television show Perfect Strangers, where he played Balky Bartokomous. He was phenomenal in that. I also watched him in a film called Second Sight with John Larroquette. He was fantastic in that as well. Eddie Murphy passed on acting in Ghostbusters from 1984 to do this film. Now, I think I'd heard something about that once before, but I wasn't sure. But yeah, that solidifies it. That's true. Wow. Gilbert R. Hill, a real life Detroit. Let me get this straight. A real life Detroit Police Department homicide detective played the role of Inspector Todd. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool right there. I love his character in that film. Always yelling at Foley and cussing up a storm because when Foley does something wrong. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. Originally, the lead role was set for Sylvester Stallone, who left the project because he didn't think audiences would accept him as a fish out of water cop new to the Beverly Hills lifestyle. He also didn't like the inclusion of comedy in the film because he felt unsuited for comedy roles. Um, I don't know. Maybe at that time in 1984 when this movie came out, he was trying to solidify himself as an action superstar, which he did. He did. Um, and later on went into doing a little bit of comedy and action mixed together. So it probably wasn't suited for that at that time, or just felt like he wasn't ready for that. But eventually, he did make some comedy films, and he was great in those. This movie broke the 11-year record set by The Exorcist in 1973 as the highest grossing R rated film domestically, and itself held the record for 19 years until it was surpassed by The Matrix Reloaded in 2003. After adjusting for inflation, this is the third highest grossing R rated film domestically, after The Exorcist and The Godfather from 1972. That's pretty cool. That's a big, that's a big arc right there. So that's neat. Let's see. In one of the drafts written for Sylvester Stallone, Rosewood was called Satins and was killed off halfway through the script during one of the action scenes that were deemed too expensive for Paramount to produce. After Brest cast Judge Reinhold and John Ashton, he decided to keep Rosewood alive. Good choice. Good choice. Uh, I don't know if I don't know how different Beverly Hills Cop would have been if Stallone would have been in it. It would have been pure action, no comedy, probably more than likely. Um, but I don't know if it would have been as good as it is without him in it. I don't know. That's debatable. That's debatable. The gated entrance to Victor Maitland's house were also used in the film Blind Date from 1987. There's a scene where you see Eddie Murphy sitting outside the gate watching Maitland's estate, and two other cops pull up and try to find out what he's doing, and maybe run him off, catch him in something, and you see the gates, right in the scene, and then of course at the end of the film, during the big final shootout, you see the police and all the cars running in through the gates. But the same wall and the gates were used in Blind Date from 1987. I believe that was the one with Bruce Willis in that film. After Stallone left the film, other actors for the lead role were Mickey Rourke, Harrison Ford, Kurt Russell, Michael Keaton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, John Travolta, Robert De Niro, Richard Pryor, and Nick Nolte, just to name a few. Um, I don't think it would have been any good with Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke, if it was to stay a comedy film, um, if it was to stay an action film like it was with Stallone, Mickey Rourke, Harrison Ford, Michael Keaton, and Robert De Niro and Nick Nolte probably would have done okay. But since it switched over to an action comedy, I think Harrison Ford still could have pulled it off. Kurt Russell's funny when he wants to be. Michael Keaton's funny when he wants to be too. Um, Richard Pryor would have been perfect. Um, and maybe John Travolta, maybe. But I don't think. I'm glad they stuck with the way it is with Eddie Murphy instead of these other actors. I mean, it might have worked, but I don't think it would have been as big of a hit as it was uh, without Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was well suited to play this role, especially after it went from action to action comedy. Which Eddie Murphy can do action movies too. I mean, he's done several action films, and done very well with them. Um, but I'm glad they just stuck with what they had and just left it with Eddie Murphy. And the other guys didn't take the roles for whatever reason. But it's pretty interesting to find out how many other big name actors they had in mind to play Axel Foley in this film, in this franchise. All right, so with that being said, we're going to end the video here. Like I said, this is a fantastic action comedy film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And if you have already seen it, give it a rewatch. It ain't going to hurt you not one bit. I guarantee you, you're going to laugh at some point in time during that film. So coming up on Saturday will be a Mikey's Saturday Nightmares. I got a good one lined up for you. I'm going to try to get back to some of the viewer submitted films for the Saturday Nightmares. If not this week, it'll be next week. I'll get back into that list that one of the viewers had sent in to me and start going through some of those. So stay tuned for that. And we got here in West Virginia, there's another storm rolling through here in this area, I should say. I hope everyone is safe and staying warm and has power and doing well, surviving the weather. There's another storm, like I said, rolling in that's coming through. Hopefully, it won't be as bad as they think it's going to be, because we've had enough snow. I'm tired of snow. I'm telling you right now. I'm just tired of snow. But by Saturday, hopefully, I'll get back on here and have another Saturday Nightmares video for you. Please take care, be safe in going in and out, and I will see you guys on Saturday. Have a good one, folks. Bye bye.